Welcome to Conversation, a platform where life topics are discussed. So last time we were talking about how we met, our journeys, and especially our love journey. And the fact that, okay, he was in a relationship, I was in some relationships, several relationships that were breaking back to back. He was in a steady relationship, and then eventually you realized that I was the one that was you were meant to. And he didn't, coincidentally, I didn't know. By the time you realized, you didn't come to meet me at that time.
No,
For me, it was still my journey of, talking to God, ensuring that I was at rest. I'd broken some relationships and I was not ready for a relationship. I was actually backing him up, backing his relationship, praying for them. And then eventually he came to meet me and asked me out.
Yes. I remember that day. I think I was in the house upstairs.
Really?
Yeah, when I officially unveiled my desire. And before we just step into some of those areas of maturity, the things we're going through, I really want to talk about that love recognition. Because looking back, I've seen people miss out on great things because they could not just recognize that it's close to them.
Mm-hmm.
Many have lost business opportunities, marriage partners, big things just because they're looking far away, in quote, and yet God had provided it close to them.
Yeah.
I would have missed it myself if I was bullheaded and continued. Only God knows where I would have been. I don't have any regrets marrying her. If I'm looking back, I wonder I could have started that relationship earlier. But we have our own thinking. We just like problems at times. We just want truth as human beings. So I want to encourage, it's a huge thing because I see people pray about things, and every time we pray about anything, God would have provided it. The challenge is, can you recognize it?
Yeah.
Now, the questions we need to ask ourselves is, why am I not even recognizing it? Sometimes it's familiarity. The answers are just so close that we're so familiar with it, and we keep troubling God, and then we miss what God has sent. Just like Jesus Christ, he was sent to save mankind.
Yeah.
And the Jews, for instance, did not really recognize him. Many are still praying for Savior, and the Savior came, and he has left. He's going to come back the second time. So if you're here, maybe you're trusting God for something. It could be married partner, anything. Can you just even pray that, Lord, the answers you have provided for me, help me to recognize it.
Yeah.
The answer is so close at times that we miss it. So close. I could have missed her. She's been in fellowship on campus, working, laboring, supporting, lawyer, loving. But I must go to UK. But going to UK is nothing now. So many of us make our decisions based on temporary matters, and we miss eternal matters. My thought then was, if I break this relationship, how will I ever in my life go to UK? Because of the kind of background I had. And look at what's UK today. So I pray also that God will open your eyes.
Amen.
The business breakthrough you prayed about, you've been troubling God about, the business breakthrough, most likely there's a client close to you or a business partner, someone that you need to leverage, a step you can take just easily. And then the thing will happen. I pray that your eyes would just recognize it, like Eureka, that wow, I found it. It's there, it's so close.
Yeah.
In fact, we need to pray that God will open our eyes to see it. And some people, it's just pride.
Coincidentally, remember that, while we're still friends, there was a period where, there was like our pastor today, our spiritual pastor,
Yes.
and he prayed for you and said, Lord, open his eyes.
Okay, that was when we went for a beach, like a beach party.
Like a beach party, yeah, our youth church.
Party. And Bishop Edeko was there at that time. That was 94.
Yeah.
1994. So we're there playing, and Bishop Edeko was moving around the beach. Can you imagine? On the beach, playing with young folks. So I remember some of us just want to meet him, to greet him, to hold his hand. So we were together. And then
we're a number of
he now asked me, am I in a relationship?
Yeah.
I said no. He now told me, like, the Lord will open my eyes.
That was many years ago.
That
many years before.
That was 94.
Yeah, and we
started
started
in 99. So when I looked, I said, okay, God opened the eyes. I didn't allow God.
Well, okay, so talking about relationships, I know that there's also the issue of specifications, because I know that before you eventually asked me out,
Yes.
I had my specs. And I think that caused a lot of heartbreak for me because
I was not expecting.
well my original spec, or I just wanted I like tall.
So
I
am I short?
I won't your
Oh my
average height.
good God. I had my own specifications too.
Yeah, so we all have
Yes.
specifications. I know you
I wanted to
wanted
marry a mama.
you wanted
You know when you are called to ministry, you are looking for
before
one
that.
gym.
He wanted to
So I was
marry
looking-
someone with long nose. He wanted to marry an African American, actually.
You know one of them.
Well,
You look
anyways,
you look beautiful. Don't
I was
forget
talking about the.
spec now. You look
I have to talk about this thing. I have to. Because I wanted that, it really affected me because that was what I
why?
was looking at. My expectation, this is what I want.
What is that? What
I
tall person?
thought I wanted, okay, so I wanted tall,
Mhm.
I wanted dark,
Dark. Am I not dark enough?
I wanted handsome.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying I don't handsome.
2 over 3 is it not pass? No, I'm not even tall. I'm
Well-
dark. I am handsome. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made.
I didn't say I don't
From the
have
crown of
some.
my head to the sole of my feet, I'm very
Let me
good.
relax.
Oh, good Lord.
So for me, I think that was what affected my own,
Choice.
because I had gone into 2 relationships. One was very short, and the other was, but because I had that certification, that was what I was looking for. And I remember, so the last relationship I was in before I eventually, started dating my husband right now, then I thought he fit, he ticked all the boxes. He was tall, he was dark, he was handsome. But, there are times when you have ticked it, it's just your mind.
Okay.
It's not, that's why you said divine earlier. I had ticked the boxes, but I was not happy. I was not at peace. I was not,
Okay.
and so and a lot of people have those specifications where at times you might even tick the boxes, really, because sometimes people have delays because the boxes have not been ticked. It's not the kind of person I want. But there's times when you tick all those things, but they're not weighty. They are not the real boxes you should be ticking. So this person had ticked the boxes. He was tall and he was dark. He was
But that
handsome.
person-
Yeah, not
Okay.
you.
I just want to clarify.
But inside me, I wasn't at rest because I knew he wasn't a person. So specifications, yeah, they're good. It's good to have the kind of person you want in that sense, but don't put God in a box. Don't,
Yeah.
God can give you much more than you want.
But it might come in
Be-
seed form.
And it may not be,
Yes, when it falls, when we ask God for things, I mean, when mankind has been groaning for rescue, He just sent us a seed, Jesus Christ, and then the rest is history. When you're asking God for something, I won't lie to you, the thing might show up as a seed,
Yeah.
and seeds are not always very beautiful. Or,
That's what are you trying to say?
no, for at least they might not look like the harvest you're looking for, and that's what some people miss it, even for businesses. You want to make billions of dollars or naira or cedis. But God sends you a seed, like a business to start, something small, a business partner that might not be so big, something that, just imagine all the seeds, purple seeds, seeds of the fruits. Very rare will you see a seed more beautiful than the fruit itself. But that's where the thing starts from.
Yeah.
So most people can't recognize a seed, and that's where discernment comes in and the right motives. If you are like Lot in the Bible, or you're like, who is that again? That like Gehazi, your eyes are only about things that are already in their fruit phase.
Yeah.
You might miss God a whole lot.
Not all that glitters
Yeah,
is
no,
gold.
yeah. So when you can recognize this thing as a seed, when our church started, for instance, we were like just 7 people, but I saw greatness. Yeah, I believe that we're going to grow. So you have to allow God start with you so you can grow. I even love when couples grow together, grow through the thick and thin, their challenges. It strengthens their friendship. Are there things that you can say that you've learned over the years? Just 1 or 2 things that.
In being in a relationship, even married to you,
Please be gentle, be gentle.
I've learned patience. That's number 1. Because we are very different.
What do you mean blend patience?
Yeah.
It's the fruit of the spirit. You know what I
Wait,
mean? It's the Holy Spirit that helps you.
but God puts you in my life to teach me patience.
How do you mean? You have to explain.
Okay, so
I'll say my own.
we are very different. So you are choleric. I'm
I'm a
melancholic.
child of God.
But you have a temperament. You have a personality.
I'm a go-getter. I'm project driven. I'm not theoretical. I'm practical.
You know what? You know that seed form he was talking about. When I met him, his temperament was in the seed form.
You too are in the seed form.
He didn't know temperament at that time, so he was screwed. His choleric was screwed. He was, so he was very. Oh my goodness, we had those conflicts then, because yes, I was attracted to him because of his, confidence. He was out there. He was expressive. However, when we got into a relationship, those very things that attracted me to him were not the ones that were like, am I sure I made the right choice? He was very hard. So there's times he wants to correct and we're like, no, do that. And I'm like,
I was trying to make things work.
Really?
Yes, it has to work. I wanted it to work, but maybe I didn't go about it the right way.
We obviously didn't go about things the right way when we were. Yeah, both of us. Yes, I'm a melancholy, so I would over analyze. I would over stress things. I would think about it, magnify it.
Let's move on. It's happened last week.
And for melancholies, you can't just move on. He will want to move on, and I'm like, no, you can't move on. You have to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I have to receive the apology.
Yes.
Before we can move on.
And then melancholies have to be very practical. They should move from being theoretical and being practical. 1 + 1, move on, so we can keep moving on.
So when we have a conflict, he wants to tell me what he did. And I'm like, okay, you said your own, but you have to understand why what you did is making me upset.
Amen.
But for him, he's like, oh, let's move on. He wants to kiss me. I'm like,
no. I object to that. My Lord, I object to that.
I'm like, please don't call Yemi. Let us face the matter. Let my mind.
Is it wrong to even settle the matter with a kiss?
No, please. Please, no. No.
But are there things you want to tell younger couples now?
Okay.
I know we're going to be 20
this
year.
Yes.
Wow. 20 years.
Wow.
God will help us another 20 plus 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is what I want to tell younger couples, because I laugh a lot when I counsel with young couples. Mm-hmm. It's almost the same thing, but not everybody knows how to handle that first 5 years. Mm-hmm. And they have, when I look at people in scriptures, I envy them a lot. People look at them and say, in their own time. They had that time. David did not have a Bible to read. People look at Joseph, for instance. Joseph did not read, thou shalt not commit adultery. Have you ever wondered about that? He never had a book to read, thou shalt not. He refused it. What was he working with? But we have the Bible, we have people's experiences. Yeah. So when people have opportunity of listening to, other couples in quotes, I feel they can be better. Are there 1 or 2 things you want to encourage younger couples with?
First of all, don't put yourself under pressure. I think for most people, especially the first 5 years, a lot of couples are under pressure. Oh, we must get it right. We shouldn't fight. And in fact, I would say allow the conflict, allow the fight, because when you have those conflicts, you get and the opportunities you have to resolving them, it makes you bond. So for us, when we didn't know this in our first 5 years, we would fight. And I realized that the moments when we would have conflicts and we would argue, I was not allowing him apologize and all. And then we just finally say, you know what, let us talk. And in those times of, communications, talking, we became closer. And I'm like, okay, so why didn't we do this before? So the first 5 years, I would tell the earlier years of marriage, don't put yourself under pressure. You can't get it right. You're coming from different backgrounds, different experiences. There will be conflicts. Allow them. Laugh through them. Learn through them. Don't now scatter or break the marriage, or in the attempt of, at times you think that maybe I married the wrong person. I actually thought that at different times, like, oh gosh.
No, I actually thought I shouldn't be in ministry. The first few years of the challenges, I thank God didn't call me. We go through that. Some start businesses, Should I have ever start this business in the first place? Now, how do you handle those doubts? How do you handle those times because of the challenges you have been facing?
Yeah.
So I
So
think
don't put yourself under pressure. Go through the motions. Talk to people in your have mentors or people in your lives that can, just like we said, like we always say, when you talk to people, it helps put things in the right perspective. So when you talk to someone that has, passed through the first 5 years, you just realize, okay, yeah, so maybe I'm not, it's not unique to us. So have people in your life that you can talk to, and of course the friendship is not negotiable. When you have a body, even when you fight, the next thing is like kilo ten share. You just sorry. What's even wrong with you? You come here, Joe. You just want to settle because you're friends. But when you don't have that friendship in a relationship, even when you have just a little conflict, you overblow it and you're like, please just go your way.
I think talking to older people is just a great resource.
Mm-hmm.
You are 2 years in marriage, somebody is 18 years in marriage, and you notice that they're doing well, talk to them. The challenge with us most of the time is we want to appear we're doing well.
Yeah.
That reputation thing that we're doing fine. I'm married right. You want to tell everybody, you want to show it to everybody. Talk to them. Mm-hmm. It will amaze you that the thing you're talking to them about, they've been through it. Maybe they're even still going through it, but it lets you know how they were able to turn it around. When Bimbo said about conflict, she just said I should go and see conflict intentionally. When those things happen, see this as an opportunity to learn from the other person, to learn about the other person. Now, one thing that helped me as a man, honor and God, I have this thinking that, when we get married, you see the dad, wedding ceremonies, the dad holding the daughter, almost like handing over the daughter to you. Mm-hmm. So there's this mindset that, okay, now a man has handed over his daughter to you. How would you turn that life? After 4 years, when that man comes to check back his daughter, okay, yes, I'm giving her to you in quote, what will he say after 10 years? Will he look at her and say, I should have kept her? Mm. Or will he say, wow, you haven't done a better job. Thank you. Mm. And I think that should encourage every young man here that they've handed over this woman. She's not perfect. She doesn't know everything. Yes. She's not as literate as you are. Yes. She's not as smart as you are. Almighty smart man. Mm-hmm. But she was staying with her dad, and there was a measure of care, measure of beauty, measure of, enjoyment in quotes, whatever it is. Can you have that vision of making the life of that person in your hands better? Mm. Can you do that? I mean, praying for her, nurturing her, caring for her, that somewhere along the line, you are not just a husband, you become a father to the person. Your own children will learn from that. And I want to appeal to the ladies in the house too. Honor your man, even if you're earning more, even if he's not the smartest man in town. When you honor a man, you bring out the best in him. Mm. Honor begets honor. And when you honor a man, it generates favor. There's something about us men. When somebody honors us, there's this favor that pours out. And I've seen some ladies, all in the name of my rights, expressing myself, they now begin to dishonor the man. And the favor from the man stops. So you find some men, they spend some money outside more than their wife. Because somebody elsewhere is kind of honoring them. Mm. Honor is a virtue. No matter how educated you are, no matter how literate you are or exposed you are, or how weak your husband is, find a way of honoring that man and pray for him. We must be determined to make it work. Two are better than one, for they have a better reward for their labor. Yeah. But they must labor to make that union work. We hope these few things would really bless us, has been a blessing to us. I think next episode we're going to be talking about resolving conflicts in relationships generally and in a marriage. Okay, conflicts. Whether you are employer, employee, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband and wife, how do we handle conflicts? Most people don't know how to do that. We share from our experiences and from our lessons from scriptures. Have a beautiful